Well, welcome guys. Welcome in my room, obviously. Well, as some of you might recall, I'm living on the campus of the University of Twente, and this is my view from my apartment room, which is pretty cool. And well, today I would like to, as promised, mentioned on my Twitter and Facebook channel, I would like to provide you a video review of how I'm using the iPad as my primary dream journal device. And well, to give you some context, I recently decided to embark on a new kind of lucid dream training schedule to really go beyond my current lucid dream skill set. And so I'm experimenting with new kinds of training methodologies, with new techniques, new ways on how to induce lucid dreams, and including that is well, a kind of an investigation, you might say, to see whether I can use my iPad as my primary dream journaling device. Now, I've already done some tryouts and it works pretty well. So I would like to give you a review of how I'm using the iPad to support my practice and training lucid dreaming. Now, one of the things that you might notice if you already own an iPad yourself is that I'm using a couple of accessories. First one is a kind of a sleeve or a case, I don't know how it is called, primarily for protection. But I was quite interested about this particular solution because it has a strap on the back. Also using a pen to make notes, but that is secondary. Now, why I'm so interested in this strap? Well, because once I go to bed, and this is one of the uses, and I will go into the applications that I'm using and a couple of other interesting things, but primarily I will actually mount my iPad before I go to sleep on the side of my bed with the voice, with the microphone on top. So I'll just show you, and for this I need to, for a moment, put down my iPhone. So what I'm doing, this is actually a kind of a, I don't know how this is called in English, it's kind of a rubbery-like metallic kind of thing that you can put in any kind of format you like. And so what I'm doing, before I go to sleep, is I actually put this thing through the strap of the accessory, like so, right? And because I can bend it in any kind of form, I can actually make it more like this. And I can put those under my mattress, down the mattress, and then the iPad hangs actually on the side, which I will show you right now. Well, so like this. And because, as I just mentioned, that the microphone is on top, I can actually use my iPad as a voice recording device throughout the night. Because then, once I'm sleeping like this, I can just make recordings just by talking out loud. Now, the cool thing about that is that there's a very special kind of cool, awesome application that is available on the iPad, also on the iPhone, by the way, that allows me to make voice-activated voice recordings, which means that I do not need to move or turn on the lights to start the recording, but just by surpassing a kind of preset volume threshold, I'll just go out of the sunlight, it automatically starts recording. And so I do not need to move or turn on the lights or do anything other than just talking out loud and record my dreams. So I will show you. Unlock. So this is, the application is called Audio Memos, and pretty cool application. I already made some audio recordings. And as you can see, there's a preset kind of threshold, and I'm currently surpassing the threshold or volume, so you can see me talking. There's a decay, so once I stop talking, you can see that it turns yellow, and then the recording will actually stop. You see? And then once I start talking, it will record again. So it's a kind of an automatic, dynamic kind of way to do recordings, and you can make bookmarks and all kinds of very cool stuff. You can also use a button or a timer or anything like that. So what I'm doing is actually, before I go to sleep, and I mount my iPad on the side of my bed, I'm turning on this feature, and I well, turn off my iPad. Then it's mounted on the side, and once I'm in bed and I notice an awakening throughout the night, or I recall a dream, I can just stay in the same kind of sleep posture. Do not need to turn on the lights, do not need to do anything else other than just talking out loud, and it will automatically record, and once I stop talking, it stops recording. So this is a great feature to note down dreams without being obtrusive to your sleep schedule, without really waking up and getting tired the following morning. So this is a great feature. So that's the first one that I would like to show you. Second one is things that I'm using to state any kind of goal. So one of the things that I'm using are recurrent kind of goals that I use as a kind of a checklist that I go through each and every day to make sure that I'm doing the right kind of exercises, which is pretty cool. And then also I have a review of the goals that I'm completing. I'm also noting down my lucid dream goals as the things that I would like to accomplish, kind of challenges. So I'm using things as my primary goal statement kind of applications, which is a pretty cool. I'll show you. There's if you're not familiar with the iPad, there's also a landscape kind of mode, and you can have a lot of features. You can plan, have projects, and well, pretty amazing. Third one is numbers, which I use to track down my progress in terms of how many awakenings I've recognized throughout the night as kind of opportunities to implement mild, the number of the amount of dreams that I recalled in total, the number of lucid dreams I had. Well, I just tried it today, so there's only one row, and how many lucid daydreaming implementation or techniques I've engaged in yesterday, and then I'm using this, and there's a couple of tabs, and I can go to the graph kind of tab, and then I will actually show you, because there's now only one entry, but eventually you can see a whole kind of graph all dynamically and all within your hands in your bed, you know. I mean, this is so cool, and if you make a mistake, you just delete the entry, and that's it, rather than being on paper and need to scratch, and I don't know what you need to do to make it look clean. Because it's all digital, you can send it by mail, you can do anything you like. So that's also an application that I'm using. Well, currently I just begun training, so and using my iPad as a support measure. So I do not have a quite elaborate kind of data set here, but still you get the idea, hopefully. Now also, because the iPad provides for internet connection through Wi-Fi, and I have a Wi-Fi kind of connection set up in my room here, I can go directly to lucidipedia.com, to my dream journal, to journal a dream, which is again so cool. And again, well, this is kind of the normal kind of setup. You can also go in landscape mode, and you can just you're talking, and then a notepad or keyboard appears, and then you can do your journaling. So that's pretty cool as well. So I do this before I go to sleep, as I mentioned in one of my previous blogs, which is pretty cool. So those are actually my four primary applications that I'm using to use my iPad as my dream journaling device. I'm also using, and that's why I use the pen, a Pogo pen is it called, which is it's really an awesome kind of pen in which I can use to write down anything that I like. So this is kind of like a notepad, and I'm writing down my notes and the things that I'm doing to experiment with new techniques, and review my progress, get to new tips and tricks and new methodologies that I can then compile as new online classes or new tutorial sections or these kinds of new video reviews. And so that's also a quite helpful application. And the other applications are more related to Lucidipedia rather than my lucid dream training. I also have a papers app in which I have all my scientific papers on lucid dreaming. I'm also quite into reviewing how Lucidipedia is doing in terms of Twitter and Facebook, to interact with all you guys and to have an idea of how much visitors we have. And so there's a lot of stuff that I'm quite interested in. So this is how I'm using my iPad as my new primary dream journal, and it works pretty well. Well, obviously I just begun using it, so maybe in a couple of weeks I have a different kind of view about it, or maybe a more positive view even about how to use it. But I'm very excited about using my iPad as my primary lucid dream journal. So I hope you liked it. This is a brief kind of review, and again, if you're interested in the iPad, there are a lot of more reviews on YouTube to tell about all the other features that the iPad holds. But in case of lucid dreaming, I think that the iPad is a pretty awesome device to support your lucid dream training. So I hope you enjoyed. Sweet dreams, and maybe see you soon in one of our next online classes. So